I'd like to tell you a story about 3 photons, or tiny packets of light energy, named Luke, Chad, and B-Dog. Now, these weren't ordinary photons that you and I can see. No, these were gamma-ray photons, or think X-rays, on steroids. And they were forged 450 million years ago in the explosion of a star 100 times the mass of our sun, deep in the heart of our Milky Way galaxy. Why are they frat guys? Well, these guys were on their way to crash a party at Epsilon Rho Theta, or Earth. So for 26,000 years, these guys flew through space at the speed of light. Until one day, Chad and B-Dog here encountered a proton adrift between the stars. But for them, it wasn't an ordinary proton, it was a broton. So they collided with their broton and gave it a cosmic fist bump. Yeah. In doing so, they actually turned some of their energy into mass. Einstein says E equals mc squared. Energy can be matter. Other photons did this with other protons too, and they all became particles, matter. And they continued on their way. Still, other photons, like Luke here, didn't encounter any protons and just zoomed right on by, Chad and B-Dog. And so one day, they arrived at Earth. They crashed into the atmosphere and ricocheted around the particles in the atmosphere for a while until angry frat guys that they were decided to punch out all the ozone and nitrogen gas molecules they could find, breaking them into individual oxygen and nitrogen atoms. I'm not proud. You know, that's how it is. So in the blink of an eye, Earth's ozone layer, gone. Just like that. Without an ozone layer, UV light from the sun then shone through to the planet's surface. And this radiation fried algae and plant life that had only just begun to colonize the shores of the still barren continents. Days later, Chad and B-Dog arrived, along with the rest of the newly minted particles. They crashed into the atmosphere and shattered some of its molecules into deadly radioactive gases that circled the globe. And some marine creatures like fish, squid, trilobites were exposed to these gases as they mixed into the waters around them. Soon they started to feel sick. Days later, they were dead. And what's worse? Nitrogen dioxide started to form in the atmosphere from the atoms that used to be in ozone and nitrogen gas. And this stuff is really good at reflecting the sun's light back into space. So the already dying planet grew cooler and cooler. A once promising menagerie of marine life froze to death beneath the waves. And soon, great sheets of ice covered the planet and wouldn't melt again for millions of years. It's kind of a downer of a story, right? But think about it. If it wasn't for our Primordial Bro-Down here, you and I would probably not be here today. So you got to admit, frat guys in the universe, they're not all that bad. Thanks.